Hey everybody, it's Nicky J here again. Okay, so I just want to correct the interpretation of a particular verse that has been misinterpreted over time, even to this very present day, right? That's Proverbs 23, verse 7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Now, Brother Solomon in that verse is not telling us that you will become what you think. No, that's not what he's trying to say. Because when you really look at the word, you see that people can think of things that they will never become. So you don't just become things because you think of becoming, right? You have to think, act in certain ways to become, right? So your becoming is a product of thoughts and action combined, so not just a product of thinking. In fact, that was not what Solomon was even trying to say here. Now, if you really want to understand that particular verse, you have to read it in context. He started talking about that issue from the verse 6. He talked about it in verse 7, which is the one we normally misinterpret, then in verse 8. Now, let me do the reading for us. Proverbs 23, verse 6. Do not eat the bread of a miser. A miser is someone who does not like giving out things. He doesn't like spending money. He's very prudent, but their prudence goes into being stingy, right? These are people who Nigerians would call akagom. They don't give out things easily, right? He said, do not eat the bread of a miser, nor desire his delicacies. Then the verse 7. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. That's not where that verse stops. That's why many times we misinterpret it. It goes further. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. So Solomon is trying to say now that a stingy person can say, come and eat and drink with me. He says, yeah, don't desire such a food, because that invite to come and eat and drink is not necessarily what he means. In fact, in verse 8, he said, the morsel you have eaten, morsel is that small thing that you have eaten from him, you will vomit up and waste your pleasant words. So the whole picture Solomon is trying to paint here is that, look, a person can say something, do something, act in a certain way towards you that they do not mean in their heart. Their intent is different from what they are putting out there. In this case, he used a miser, that's a stingy person, right? Yes. So it means every human being has thoughts and actions. Even though thoughts will produce actions, there are some actions that are not product of the original intent of the person's heart. So people can think of you in a certain way and act towards you in another way. Yes, there are persons who act so friendly and happy towards you, but in their hearts, they don't really like you. Solomon here is telling us that you see that thing that they have in their hearts, that is exactly who they are. That is exactly what they used to judge you, not necessarily the show. Of all the news that we've been seeing recently of how friends have been killing each other, even family members killing themselves and all of that, do you think that your friend that wants to poison you tomorrow because he's jealous of you will come and tell you today that he wants to poison you? He will act all happy with you. He's going to be celebrating with you, but in his heart, he's jealous. In his heart, he wants to terminate you. Now, Solomon here is telling us that that thing that the man is thinking in his heart, that is exactly who he is, not necessarily what he's saying to you, not the drama he's putting up to you. Let us flip it a little bit. Have you not seen cases where a person who has been living a seemingly happy life, they go inside and they commit suicide, and everybody's like, whoa, he has been joyous, she has been happy, she has been with friends, she has been celebrating. Why would she take her own life? That is because all the battles she's been having have been in her. Everything that you've been seeing her do out there, they've all been a show. They've all been just a cover up of exactly what's been going on in her heart. But guess what? A man is known by what really he has in his heart. The Bible says that men's heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? The reason why I said who can know it is because many times what they are putting to the world is not exactly what they are thinking in their heart. In fact, a wicked person will not come and tell you, I'm a wicked person. But in his heart, he harbors wickedness. And Solomon here is trying to tell us that what a man thinks in his heart is exactly who he is, not what he's saying or the kind of life he's living out there. Right here. So this is the correct interpretation of this word. What you think in your heart, even you that is listening to me, is exactly who you are. So regardless of all the show you put out there for the world to see, that thing that you have in your heart that you're thinking, that's who you are. Exactly who you are. Oh yes. So this is exactly what Proverbs 22 verse 7 is trying to tell us. People are what they think in their hearts, not the show they put out there for the world to see. Cheers.